10th year anniversary, and I'm very happy to have here with you today Tajinder Virk, Group CEO at Finvacia.
That's right. Hi, Andrea. Nice to be here.
Thank you so much for being with us. We're very glad to have a group like Finvacia with us in here with so many brands. Can you please walk us a little bit through the structure of your group? There is a lot of brands that you have built up under the umbrella of Finvacia, but I think that we're a little bit lost. We need some clarification, please.
For sure. So Finvacia, by and large has 4 different verticals. Finvacia is into financial services, healthcare, IT, and real estate. Real estate is more traditional business, more generational. That started when me and my brother started Finvacia. We envisioned more like an engineering company. Both me and my brother are engineers. Then we worked on Wall Street, got into finance, wealth management. And the whole gist of Finvacia is to build products that will actually solve real life problems, whether it is in financial services, whether it is in healthcare, whether it is in building technologies that will solve problems for mankind in the long term. That's really what Finvacia is. Within financial services, if I have to elaborate that, we are into investment, spending, saving, and lending. We happen to own a few brokerage firms that come under our financial intermediation division. Then we have wealth management. We own the most, I would say, recognized and the oldest social wealth management platform in the world, Zulu Trade. We own one of the oldest fintech in the world, ActTrader, which actually built a trading application in 2002. When people really didn't have internet on their mobiles, that's when we built the trading application. So that's sort of Finvacia, trying to identify challenges in different verticals where we think they are too orthodox and they need innovation from engineers, and we try to work on solutions that will solve a problem.
So technology-based.
Technology, I would say engineering based, because for example, one of the subsidiary of Finvacia is working on building a nanotechnology device that would be inserted inside the body, and it would real-time monitor, for example, your sugar levels. Right now, if you have to check your sugar levels, you have to prick your finger. Imagine if your sugar drops at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So our app, along with the device, can actually track your sugar every 5 minutes without any prick. Yeah, so it's not just technology, it's engineering, bringing together mechanical engineering, physics, biochemistry, and technology as coding and softwares to solve those problems.
There is a strong pulse for financial engineering, as you have mentioned until now. And the company, Finvacia, you've been mentioning that it was created by you and your brother, Sarvjit.
That's right, Sarvjit.
And Tajinder.
Tajinder, that's right.
And this has been a history, a road of 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Can you walk us a little bit through that process, that history?
Sure. So both me and my brother, we are engineers. We finished our engineering from the same college. Then we went on to get our MBA degrees. I was 23 when I got my MBA admission, let's say. I was too young to be an MBA. Same for my brother. But we got into it, and then we both went into finance, and he was a management consultant with PepsiCo and those guys. I was working with multiple hedge funds, more on the wealth management, asset management. I was managing Wall Street. I was managing about $1.6 billion for Fortis Bank at some point. One of the hedge fund I was managing was among the top, it was the top market neutral hedge fund in the world, nominated for 5 years in a row, and they got the award for 2 out of those 5 years. So the whole combination of engineering and finance came together, and we were like, okay, let's start doing something where we try to build something for future, and that's where both of us came together as brothers. We just keep on picking up things. Initially, we were into wealth management, and we were managing money for large hedge funds and fund of funds and guys like that. And we were investing, and we were paying so much brokerage. Like really, that's how the brokerage and the retail side started. And we were like, why are we paying so much in brokerage when all this guy is doing is taking our electronic message, sending it to the exchange, replying back the same electronic message, and we are charging every time he sends a message? He's not a telephone company. It does not make any sense. So we thought, we're like, okay, so let's buy our own tickets. We will not pay anyone any brokerage. We will save a lot in cost, and there'll be privacy in what we are investing for our funds, because for hedge funds, privacy is a big deal.
Yeah.
So we got our tickets on some of the exchanges, and then the idea came up from some of the employees in the company is, since we have these tickets, why don't you start retail operations? I was like, wow, that's good. It's good to make money. You're young. I was like 27, 28. Making money is interesting.
Very.
So we're like, okay, let's do it. We started scratching our head. We're like, it doesn't feel right. Somewhere I don't feel to be known as a broker, because a broker is charging unnecessarily something for something that he does not deserve for. If you look at one of the ads that Finvicia runs on TV, it's like, a waiter comes with your pizza, because you order pizza. He puts a pizza on your table, picks up a slice, takes a bite, puts it back on your table and goes away. And that was the whole idea, like, why are we doing this? So we're like, okay, let's go zero commission. But then the problem is, a broker cannot go zero commission by himself. Okay, you can be zero commission, but not a zero cost ecosystem, because you have to pay to the clearing members, you have to pay for the technology providers, you have to pay for the entire food chain.
Exactly.
So we're like, let's buy the entire food chain. Easy answer. So we are one of the only 13 professional clearing members in India. We're like, okay, let's get our own professional clearing entity to take care of clearing, make clearing zero cost. Let's build our own technology and buy some technology, because it takes time, and make that zero cost. And commission brokerage is anyway zero cost, so the entire ecosystem becomes zero cost. So now when someone comes and invests in Finvicia, he does not pay for brokerage, he does not pay for commissions, he does not pay for clearing charges, he does not pay for technology, he does not pay for minimum monthly maintenance or AMC. He doesn't have to if he buys stocks, futures, bonds, options, commodities, or if he's buying mutual funds, certificate of deposits, everything zero cost. That is where it started revolutionizing, and people started asking us, why are you doing this? We thought it does not make sense to be a broker, and the industry is going to die anyways, because we are moving where there will be no middleman. Eventually, Amazon did that. A lot of companies, I look at them, that's what they did. They killed the middleman, they brought D2C, and they created value for everyone. Financial services is the only industry where the raw material is money and the end product is money. It's the same raw material and the same end product. What do? You are just increasing the raw material in the value of it or in the volume of it. If you cannot increase that, you're not solving a problem. But by creating frictions of commissions and brokerages and slippages and all those things, you're reducing the raw material.
So the whole group of Finvicia, the whole idea and mission of Finvicia is towards the retail trader.
It's towards solving problem of an average person. I think financial services is important. An average person, there are 24 hours in a day. He spends 8, so he's sleeping for 8 hours. He has another 16 hours left. Out of those 16 hours, he's working for 12 hours. Imagine something that you're working for 75% of your waking hours. You have emotions towards it. It's greed, it's fear. Same thing that you have towards your kids. Same thing towards you have anything that you love. So financial services is important. If we can solve problem for an average person, reduce the friction, create a more ethical, more transparent ecosystem that does not thrives on frictions and on mathematical realities of conflict of interest, it will create value for an average person. So it's more retail driven, yes. We have a large B2B division because we do a lot of B2B business in Zulu Trade and Act Trader, but I think it has to be solving problem for the end client, for the average, it should not be just an e-commerce website. It has to pick up a problem that is a pain point, remove the pain point using engineering, not just technology.
And at what point did Shunya come along?
Shunya is a mathematical notation. When initially mathematics started, there were only 9 numbers, Roman numerals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There was no 0. 0 got invented by Aryabhatta in India, and he called it Shunya. And it also denoted, and if you look at it, it's such a beautiful mathematical notation. Before that, there was no concept of infinity. You divide 1 by 0, there's infinity. So there are a lot of things that came to reality in mathematics because of Shunya, but it brings 0 and it brings infinity. Because we are zero, commission ecosystem, we thought that's the perfect notation for us, Shunya. And then that denotes, taking 0 cost, 0 commission and taking it, to as much and as wider as we can. And that's how we, call it Shunya. We say Shunya is like this Shunya. It's like a beautiful zero that can add value to people.
Which the idea is to represent the zero commission
The
system. that
zero
you have to
commission,
follow,
exactly,
Based on everything
exactly.
that you just explained.
Exactly, yeah.
So the motivation behind it was to be able to provide to the retail trader a solution to
And for
have an
institutions
end
as well.
product
On our
cheaper.
platform, even institutions and hedge funds don't pay any commission. So no matter if you have $1,000 or $100 million, zero commission, zero clearing, done.
And Finvatia is investing a lot in the European Union these days and in other parts of the world.
Uh-huh.
What do you have in mind for Finvatia as a group? What is the direction you want to
We
take?
believe the world is getting smaller and smaller. Financial services is a very peculiar area. I see the same with healthcare as well, by the way, because you need licenses wherever you go. There are local regulations, you have to comply with them, which is very good. We want to see that, because what I see in crypto exchanges busting is because there's lack of regulation. It's great, but we have to comply to them. But the world is global now. We cannot say I am a financial services company of London. It has to be global. So we want to go into every aspect of finance that we think is important: investment, savings, spending, and lending. And we want to go as wider globally as we can, because the product is there, the technology is there, the value system and the ethics that have been really the cornerstone of what we are doing, that is what we are known for, is there. So it really is keep on going to as many markets as we can, keep on expanding that and replicate it.
Are you going to try to localize, tailor to
Obviously,
each specific
for sure,
market?
for sure. It's beautiful because you see, so localization back in the days used to mean having multiple languages, multilingual client support and multilingual website. Now it means having localization in terms of the content, in terms of people's expectations, in terms of how people connect to different things. So it's not just linguistically localization, it's basically ideologically also localization,
Culturally as well.
So there is a lot of localization. We have a license in Japan, for example. It's a complete different world. It is unlike Europe. It is unlike any other country. So when I look at India, for example, it is very different. Australia, UK looks different, and LATAM looks completely different. So the world is really diverse, and you have to connect to them, and you need a lot of localization for that.
And can I ask you a very corporate question
Yes.
from management?
Yes.
Finvatia is comprised of all of these group of companies that you have told me, and it's not just in finance. Only in finance you already have a few of them, including technology, retail brokerages, social trading, etc. But you also have healthcare and IT and all these other engineering products that you have mentioned. How do you do it? How do you manage, and how do you make sure that your vision and your mission, you and your brother, can make sure that it gets passed down all the way down through the chain?
It's a very good question. Something that we get asked, like, why are you trying to burn the ocean? We do get that question sometimes. I think we're trying to do our bit. It's important to have management at every level. We don't try to be the management of each one of these companies. Each one of these companies have their own local management. Finvatia acts as a global management where we make sure that our ethics are the same, our value system for product development is the same. It's very complementary between me and my brother. If you meet him, everyone tells me, like, you are two brothers. If you just look at your face, you look exactly the same. The rest of the body looks different. Like, he's in coat and suit and tie. So it's a very diverse mix within the management. It's mostly family driven, family run. So in that respect, it is a family business to some extent, but it's not run as a family. So he has his strengths, I have my strength. We have a lot of managing directors and CEOs. For example, Capital Wallet has its own CEO, Genie Health its own CEO. So each one of these bigger verticals have their own CEOs, their own directors, their own teams that work independent of each other. There are some businesses that compete with each other. So for example, we have 3 brokers, and they overlap in the countries that they serve in, and they compete with each other. They have to work their own way. They have to act independently. What they cannot change is the value system, the approach, the way the products are designed and the products are built, the problem solving of all of these. So we sit at a strategic level. We identify, we agree with this, we don't agree with this. We don't sit at micromanaging or at execution level at anything that is mid-level or lower. It's not something we interfere in, and that is why everyone has their own character while maintaining the same ethical ecosystem that we're trying to build over there.
And I guess that you ensure that they will be within the same ethical frame,
That's very important,
through
yes.
the HR process when you're recruiting.
Which is very interesting, actually. So even though we have HR across all of these entities, our HR is centrally managed, globally managed. So HR does not report to the local management; it reports to the global management. So we ensure that our culture does not get sacrificed because it's a certain country or a certain culture. Marketing, for example, is another centralized function to make sure we are not giving the wrong message. We are giving the same right message every single time. So we do have some centralized functions, but most of them are decentralized.
Very interesting approach.
Thank you.
Wonderful. It has been a pleasure to have you, Tajinder.
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you so much.
It has been very, very insightful. I'm sure that all of our readers and viewers are definitely going to enjoy this. And we really look forward to seeing where Finvasia goes from here.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.
Thank you.